And we are back, and we've got Skytree there. We've got the Asahi headquarters there with that thing on the top there, and the glaring sun. So now let's get ready to head down to the water, and there we go, Zumibashi. Pretty cool bridge. Yeah, it's red. You know, red's cool. I like red. I like red. So now we're gonna head down, and we got a big. This is the big dock here. All the boats stop here because everybody wants to come here. Everybody wants to come here. So. And we're going underneath this bridge. This is kind of interesting because it's open. Pretty cool, isn't it? It's open. It's like 6 a.m. and you can see they've got it set up. They don't want people sleeping here. Probably what they first did before they did all that, they had people sleeping there. They wanted to get rid of that. So they put that on. They put the gates on. They lock it up at night. You know. Try to be nice to people. Look what happens. At any rate, now we're going back down the river here. Yeah, poor guy looks. It looks like he's been running in the sun, and he's probably wondering why. And you know, I'm thinking the same thing. Why are you doing that, buddy? You could just run on the other side. You know, some people, they want to punish themselves. Oh, look at that. There's some cool water anyway. It looks cool. The fountain there. Don't feel cool. It's definitely now on the sunny side, the hot side. It's got to be getting like 29 degrees now. 29 degrees, maybe 6:45. Maybe even getting close to 7. I don't know. So we're coming back down on these bridges. See, you got all these regular bridges everywhere now. Well, pretty dense, pretty intense part of the city. You know, it's pretty intense. You know, this is Tokyo. This is the big city. And here we are. It's all happening here. And we got a little bit of nature, such as it is. Got the water. That's natural. Oh, I was going to comment about my water. It said natural water. You know, would it be cool if somebody sold something that said unnatural water, and they did it as a selling point, you know, and the people that wanted to be like anti-nature or whatever could be cool, you know, would feel cool that they were being anti-nature. It'd be more, you know, it's marketing, you know. It would be, and make it a fad, like drinking unnatural just for the summer. Just for the summer, just for like a special season of rebelling against natural, rebelling against all things natural, and have that like a campaign. Like remember like pet rocks or something. You know, you could have like unnatural water, unnatural, I don't know, milk. What would the unnatural milk be? I don't know. So we're walking under this bridge, and then we've got is this Komagata? No, I think this is Komagata. Here we're walking under Komagata. That's Komagata, and then we got this bridge. The next one's the one with this ugly name, and I have to tell you, the kanji character is ugly. That's why. I mean, sometimes you get like this ugly sounding, and then you look at the character, and it's like, yeah, it's ugly. You know, it's an ugly character. At least I think it's ugly. I couldn't even tell you what it is, but it's ugly. So It's the Umayabashi. Umaya? Anyway, that's the next one. There. But ugly or not, loved or not, you can walk over it and you can drive over it. And you can get across the river and go from one place to another. And that's all that counts. So, what else do we talk about? It's Saturday morning, you know. We got the war in Ukraine. I heard that the president of the United States was telling people that they're just going to have to like suffer until, because we got to win this war here. I mean, personally, I don't feel like I'm at war. War with any particular country. You got some countries out there that are in a dispute, and other countries that feel like they have to get emotionally involved, and then more than emotionally involved, they got to get send rockets and bombs and missiles and stuff. Of course, the thing is that when you get a war, the people that get that are happiest, of course, are your arms manufacturers. They love having these wars, as long as things don't like really totally blow up, because then nobody makes money. But these people, as long as you got like these little containable wars like Afghanistan or Iraq or now Ukraine, as long as it can stay contained, then the arms manufacturers, they make tons of money, and they transfer tons of money from working people into the pockets of the arms manufacturers and their shareholders, who happen in many cases to be the same people that pass the laws that give them all that money in the first place and start these wars and stuff. God bless all of that. At any rate, that's about all you can really say about that. I mean, what else is there to say? One of the things that as somebody getting older like me, right? I'm like an old guy now. I'm like a elderly. I'm officially an elderly person. So, and the thing is like you get older, you get to a certain age, and you wonder, you just start wondering, because you're thinking, how many more years you got left on this earth, right? And like let's say you're 20 years old. When you're 20 years old, and like I was some years ago, I was 20 years old, early 20s, and I'm thinking, and basically for me, life was like an infinite length. Theoretically, it was going to end. Theoretically, it was, I was going to get old and all that stuff. But that was all like theoretical, right? It wasn't real. It wasn't real, and you feel immortal. You feel immortal. You feel like you can do like lots of really, really stupid stuff, and it's all going to be okay. You can take risks that put your life at danger, your health, or your life, or whatever, at danger, and it's okay because you're immortal and life is going to last forever. That's what it's like being young. At least it was for me, anyway. Think of the stuff that I did when I was young. So won't go into that in detail here, but just trust me. So, but then you get older, and then you realize, okay, now you realize that suddenly the time you got left on this earth is like finite. There's a really like finite quality to it. In fact, it becomes more and more finite, and basically at an infinite rate, at an infinitely rapid rate, its finiteness increases. That's I think the way to put it is, so you start feeling that, and so you start thinking, okay, like how much I got X number of years left on this planet, right? So if you got that much time, and one of the things that dawns on you one of the things that dawns on you is like you close your eyes for the last time, right? When you do that, so you know, your bank account. So at that moment that you close your eyes, don't matter what your bank account is, whether you're like Bill Gates or or whatever, you gotta have like all these zeros after some number, and a long string of zeros that tells you got all this money and wealth and power and all this stuff, and then it suddenly goes to zero, right? It's suddenly like you close your eyes for the last time and suddenly it's zero. And that's the thing. So I figure, I don't know, it's, but everybody wants to leave and I think it's important to leave a legacy. Don't get me wrong. Legacy is important. You leave behind, what you leave behind is of course, is of course what's important, for example, Bill Gates. Okay, Bill Gates, he's going to leave behind, this computer company, and that everybody hates. They all hate because they hate the software, and they hate him, and they hate and they hate that they're forced to buy this stuff, and they hate that it's kind of like a quasi-monopoly. And his ex-wife hates him because he was running around with Epstein and doing, awful stuff and all that. And but he gives billions of dollars to help people. So let's get that straight. But I mean, the point is that it's a complex legacy. It's a complex legacy. But as to whether a guy like that, when he's gone, whether he really lived a life where he really helped people. I figure the help that he's given is all like guilty for all the really awful stuff that he did. To make that money, that all the awful stuff he did after he made that money. But what's my point? There is a point here that I'm going to, and the point is that at the end, him and I are going to have the same bank account. I don't know how many kids he has. He have 4 kids? I got 3, so I guess he's got me beat there. But I got him beat in some other ways, though, but I won't say nothing about that either. So and what I'm saying, what's your life? I mean, my point is, at the end is, you might as well, it's kind of like enjoy your life and feel like you're like the people that love you, and you kind of do some stuff that you enjoy, give you meaning, and it's all going to evaporate anyway. So I was reading, about like these white dwarf, right? These white dwarf stars. Okay, so like the a star becomes a you got a regular star, and it's there for usually like for billions of years, and it creates some kind of solar system. The planets revolve around it, and it does all that. And maybe if they're lucky, you might get some life on one of the planets and all, and I mean, who knows any of that. But so the stars eventually, they run out of fuel, and then they kind of like blow up. I mean, I'm just going to talk, like the brief thing about stellar evolution. In the end, stars eventually kind of like die, right? So, and when they die, they kind of consume their solar system. So, which is pretty kind of like sucks if you think about it, because it's like the sun creates all this stuff. It creates helps these planets create, might even give it life. It gives them energy. Might sustain life, and then at the end it destroys it all anyway. It's pretty weird, So I don't get it. I don't get it. If there's a God, right? I mean, if there's a God, it's like, why would they come up with something like? I mean, how does that work? How does it work that you get that happens. This thing sustains life, and in the end, it destroys it all. At the end of its life, it destroys everything. It blows up and destroys, becomes a white dwarf. And I was watching how like it sucks all the matter, it destroys all the planets, sucks all the matter into it, and all that. So what's with all of that? I mean, you know, what's the purpose of that? Is what I'm saying. And see, this is for me, is like my personal evidence is that there ain't no God. Because like if there was a God, I mean, if there was really, you know, really a God, would they come up with such nonsense? I mean, would you deliberately create something like that where you had that? And I mean, you'd have to have a certain kind of perverse sense of humor in order to create a universe that worked that way, right? I mean, where, you know, you created stars, and the planets revolving around the stars, and then one or two of them ended up getting life, and then at the end you destroyed it all. You know, the star would, you know, do whatever and destroy all of it. I don't know, you know, it don't make no sense to me. It really doesn't make any sense. But that's what I'm saying. You know, what's the purpose of all this? So and then, like I say, you got people trying to accumulate, you know, wealth, and you know, and then and guys starting wars, and there's all these people starting wars and getting people to fight for them, and patriotism and all this stuff, and you know, and creating violence and all, and then at the end, some star blows up and destroys it all anyway. I you know, pretty perverse if you ask me. So I don't know what the purpose to any of this is. So, but I'm enjoying this walk. I'm not trying to like keep you from enjoying this walk or nothing, because it's pretty cool, you know. I mean, it's not cool, it's hot. But I mean, the walk is pretty cool. And like check out this, the walkway here. Look, see that? That's, there you go. Look at that blue. You feel like you're walking on water now. It's a miracle. So, there we are. We feel like we're walking on water. And we got a little bit of an inlet there, a little bit of a lock on the right there. They got some kind of little inlet there, some kind. And probably never open. There's the train going into the city, bringing people into the city from the suburbs there. The Sobu, that's the Sobu line. That train line is the Sobu line, and runs out to the suburbs. Most of those people are coming from the suburbs to do whatever they're going to do in the city on Saturday. Coming in to shop, or to work, or to go to school. All this stuff, you know, life. Just living their lives. So, and we're still walking on water a bit here. We got water with some islands now. They got these little concrete islands in the middle of the water. I think that's what they're trying to do here, is give us that feel. That feel here, yeah. I'm pretty glad I had that water before. That was the right thing to do. That was the right thing to do. Now we're coming up with, oh, that's the train. There's the train bridge there. And then we're going to have to actually go up. We're going to have to come off of the river here, because even though before we get to that bridge, because the walkway ends. The walkway ends there, and even though it goes on, but I'm not that it ends, but you can't, if you go beyond there, all you're going to, in the end, you're going to get frustrated, because you're going to have to come back and go up over these stairs and down the street there. So that's what we're going to have to do, is we're going to have to come up the stairs, and we're going to have to go on the neighborhood. We're going to have to go through the neighborhood there briefly, and then cross Yanagibashi, and then head back down the river. There's no other choice. So this is one spot where they don't have it crossing. That's the Konda Gawa, the Conda River. So we're going to have to come up. We're going to be coming up now up the stairs. Now you look on the right. You see it gives this feeling of like an Edo era building. You see that kind of design. It's as if you've got some kind of like design there. Pretty cool. You know, it's the you kind of make the wall look kind of like a building, and you got the place benches here, and all. And there's some people that are coming back because maybe some of them discovered that it ends, and they're feeling like angry and frustrated, and with their lives, and with the fact that it doesn't go. It didn't go where they wanted to go, so they're just they're saying forget it, and they're just gonna go back up the river, and they're not gonna continue, you know. So, but we're gonna continue down the river here. We are gonna continue down the river. We're gonna go down these stairs, and briefly come off and through actually Yanagibashi neighborhood. The Yanagibashi neighborhood. Boy, it is getting hot. It's hot. I am really glad that I had that 600 milliliters of natural water there. I didn't have soda. I had natural water there, and we're gonna be in the shade now, so that's cool. Definitely cool being in the shade, cause boy, yeah. So and it's a quiet neighborhood. It's just quiet Tokyo neighborhood street. So, we're coming up on Yanagibashi, the Yanagibashi. That cool little green bridge, 1920s era, swinging around the corner here. And here we go. We're going to cross it, and we will very shortly be back. Oh, there's a karasu there. Hey, buddy. Let's see. I'll give you a little feel for. There you go. Hey, how you doing? We haven't talked about you guys yet this morning. We've talked about other birds. We haven't been ignoring you. We're thinking about you. Just to let you know, we know you're out there. You're out there, ready to annoy us, wreak havoc in our lives if possible, in order to sustain yours. Let me just swing. Yeah, the sun's nice. Let me just give you nice little up the river, nice light there. Look at that. I just love this. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Is that cool or what? Yeah, that's a nice scene. I like that scene. That is one of my favorite favorite scenes in the city. That view up the Conda River there, that is a nice city scene. And we got some car coming, some suburban license plate. Suburban people coming into the city. They work, maybe they have their business here and they live out there where life is more quiet, peaceful. And I don't know if the food would be better though. That part I have to dispute that. But I guess some people want a more quiet life. You gotta grant them a more quiet life if that's what you really, really want. If you want a more quiet life. Some of us need chaos around us. Chaos, and some level of chaos anyway. If it's just all, people they like, calm and peaceful and all that. Now obviously you got people that have like these stressful lives and they got all this like corporate responsibility and pressure and all. And I got friends like that, they have this kind of stuff, and then they have their place in the countryside, right? They go out and they say, I understand it, because they got to deal with all this stress and pressure, and they got to go out, they got to go out drinking with boring people that they don't really even care about, but it's what they got to do in order to make money and run a company and all. And that's we all, there's compensation. I can't say that it's all, I wouldn't even say it's negative. I'm not even saying it's negative. It's just some things, it's just part of, there's pluses and minuses of, doing anything. And there's the upside and the downside. You get the feeling of like you're getting something done and you're doing deals and you're managing something and it's successful, it's growing. There's that sense of satisfaction and accomplishment that's, it's important. So but they got, and then on the weekend they go out of the city and kind of like decompress and all. So I have to say it's something for me. Even when I had that kind of stress, I never really felt like I had to get out of the city. Not a city like this. What's pretty cool about a city, about this city, and is that you don't feel like you absolutely have to, get out. I've spent some time in New York, and I can tell you that New York, you just feel like the intensity. It's hard to escape it. We're here. You can kind of escape the intensity. Then there's times it's in your face and all. Like here, we got these the expressway there and all the traffic and all that. But even on this walk, there's moments where you just feel like at peace and in touch with nature and life and all that. So then there's chaos, which, and like I say, that's kind of what I like. I like that mixture where I can get a little bit where I be able to escape from it, but be in the middle of it and see it, because if I had to just be like, the peace and quiet and all that, man, it gets to me. It gets to me real quick, I remember once being in Vietnam, and you had Saigon and Ho Chi Minh City, right? And it's a crazy city. Damn, it's one of the craziest places. It basically makes New York look laid back and relaxed. It's like New York is relaxing when you compare it to Saigon. So I remember once leaving the city, some guy wanted me to go out with him out to some country town, like a couple 100,000 people, and so we went out. We spent the day out in this kind of provincial capital city. And I first got out there, I said, man, this is like so peaceful. Gosh, I wonder what life would be like to live in this peaceful, quiet town instead of that crazy, crazy city of Saigon, you know? And that feeling of peace and calm and all that, it lasted about 5 minutes. And 5 minutes later, I'm thinking, oh man, I can't wait to get out of this place. And I remember later that night, we're going back into Saigon, and we're getting in, and there's like we're getting back into the city, and there's traffic, and we're in a traffic jam, and there's all we're stuck in, you know, and then there's all the motorcycles and the beeping and all this chaotic scene. And I thought, thank God. I just thought, oh my God, it feels so good to be back, you know. I spent a day outside, you know, that was enough. Okay, for all this nonsense, I'd rather be here than in that peace and quiet. So there you go. You know, some of us, we actually need this stuff. But so at any rate, I'm thinking I'm going to take some of this stuff and put it on. You know, my daughter's been telling me that I should take this stuff and put it on my TikTok, because I got TikTok, right? You know, in TikTok, you got to come up with you got to come up with all this these little pithy little sayings and stuff, and so that people pay attention to you, and millions of people. So if you say something that's, you know, like really like cool and exciting and trendy and hip, or even stupid and completely idiotic, you know, millions of people will see it, and you'll have your 1.5 seconds of fame, which is about all you get these days. I mean, back in Andy Warhol's era, they got 15 minutes, but now no more, man. 15 minutes is way too long. That's way too. You don't get that anymore. The only people that get that are people who you got to do something like really bad, you know, like really, really bad to get, you know, and I won't even mention it, because these are the kind of people that do stuff like that. But that's it, you know, that's the only way you get attention. That kind of attention is you do something really hedonist and just whatever. But or you could be Donald Trump, and then people, and you get attention all the time. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, regardless of what you think about Trump and myself, I think you know, my feelings are totally mixed, because this is one of these curious characters. He's not, you know, never a dull moment, that's for sure. But you know, and basically the media hates him, but they can't exist without him. So how much you hate a guy that you really, they say they want to destroy him, they do all this stuff, but boy, if they actually got rid of him, then nobody would pay any attention to them anymore. So they actually need him. Pretty sick stuff, but at any rate. But can you imagine? You get yourself, you know, you're a guy that likes attention, right? A whole lifetime of loving, needing attention and stuff in the world to pay attention to you. And then you become president of the United States. And now everybody, they're millions of people. You tweet some nonsense, just to get people excited. And you know that millions of people are going to watch it. And millions of people are going to get pissed off. You're going to piss off. A guy like that, they live to like piss people off, right? I mean, you and I don't. I mean, I don't want to piss people off. Well, I know some people if they have to, but most of the part, I don't want to piss people off. But that guy like lives for it. He just lives to piss people off. And so he's just like poking them in the eye all the time. And the thing is, it's like, and he's being a real estate guy, he gets this stuff. What he gets is that he's just living rent-free in their heads. And they're too stupid to realize it, that he controls their lives. That even if they say all this stuff and they're, you know, and their resistance and all this nonsense, and like they're saving the universe by opposing him. The fact is that he's having the first laugh, the middle laugh, and the last laugh. He's having all the laughs because he's living. It's all rent free, rent free in their heads. So if you spend a lot, and I know people like that. They watch too much CNN and stuff. They spend a lot of time watching CNN and all, and guy, people like that, a guy like that's living in their heads, rent free. It's it's not a good situation because he don't know you. He probably doesn't care a lot about you, but you think about him all the time. I mean, how stupid is that, right? That's the way you got to look at it. That's the way you got to think about this stuff. So, it's been, I've enjoyed this walk this morning. I wouldn't call it venting because, it's just stuff that comes into my mind and all. And some of it is, because, you probably have already seen this stuff, and I've already showed it to you, and I've enlightened you on some of the stuff that's of this environment here. But there's only so much of that knowledge and information you can stand. Then you have to be in it. Then you, and like everybody else, you need entertainment. And what really counts and what you really want, and what we all want is entertainment. So that's what I'm trying to do here. But I was thinking yesterday, about, what was it I was thinking about? I was thinking about how like monkeys, chimpanzees, or gorillas. And what was I thinking about with that? And how, doggone it, I'm trying to remember what that was. It was something that was, at least it amused me. It amused me yesterday, and I was thinking about their, one of the things I'm thinking about is what if these guys could, I know, I was talking about was like these social creatures, right? I mean, these apes, like us, they're all social creatures. Now, so what happens? And they all want to conform and all. And they don't want to, they don't want to lose the attention of their colleagues, and they don't want to be thrown out of the group. So they control their behavior and all, kind of like us humans, right? Except some humans, we really separate. We're able to separate ourselves and all. So I was thinking, what is it that so that in order for like chimpanzees to break free of these cultural bounds that they find themselves in. And I was thinking that what these guys need is to agriculture. They've got to invent agriculture, and that's where I think that we can really have a positive impact in the lives of our close relatives in the animal kingdom, the apes. I think they're apes. Chimpanzees, are they apes? Primates, anyway. So, and what I was thinking is that we could teach these guys agriculture and help them to understand and raise them. I mean, we just figured this out 11,000, 12,000 years ago. So I understand, they haven't worked this out there, but we could speed evolution mentally, and all, and change chimpanzee societies for the better. And so my idea is to teach them agriculture. And so that those chimpanzees that decide to be nonconformists, that instead of suffering and being shunned by the group and not being able to, whatever, that some chimp could be a nonconformist, could take take their favorite partner or whatever and run off and start a farm. Start a farm and just live off the land and grow their crops and learn how to grow crops and subsist. Like learn how to grow bananas. The thing is though, if they figured out how to do it, then the other friggin' chimps would show up and steal their bananas. Which so then what they'd have to do. Here's how they'd have to do it. Is what they'd have to do is they'd separate themselves out, learn agriculture, learn how to grow bananas in large quantities so they could feed everybody, and then they'd have to, invent money and a way to pay, to get other chimpanzees to protect them, or maybe even the gorillas. That would be cool. It's like, maybe the gorillas aren't as smart as chimpanzees, right? I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but let's just assume that it's true, and that gorillas aren't as smart. So then they could learn how to, pay them off and give them all the bananas they want to eat in return for protection. And I mean, gorillas are big guys, right? Like those big silverbacks, man, those guys are big. You don't want to screw around with those guys. I mean, nobody, probably not even a lion, would want to screw around with those guys. So then they could become powerful and make lots of bananas and have like a banana, like banana currency. They'd like have a banana currency and then figure out how to like sell the bananas to their. I mean, the point of all this is that they could live lives that were, how do I put it? That were nonconformist. I mean, that's the point, is that you want these chimps that just are struggling to conform. You want them to be able to live lives of happy lives without needing to conform. And so they might have had, been like shunned by the group or bullied or whatever. And now they're kind of like, they got all the bananas they can eat and everybody else wants their bananas, but they got to do stuff for them and all that. And then they become powerful, man, I don't know. Would we want to, now that I'm thinking about that though, would you want to go through all that in order to create the same mess? Man, that would be like recreating the same mess that we humans have created. But here's what's so funny, is that any chimpanzee, if you explain this to any chimp that could, would be able to understand you, we got to assume that. And they're not stupid creatures, right? They might be able to understand. They would probably think that was a pretty cool idea. They would probably think, you're onto something. Okay, we're ready to roll with that. So that's what I'm saying, is that this is, in the end, this is all about making the world a better place, I guess. But that's kind of the way it is, right? I mean, that's kind of the way the world really works, is that we think we're making the world a better place, and we come up with all these inventions and all these new ways to think about stuff, and, it seems to free us, It seems to give us freedom and happiness that we could never have imagined before. And then in the end, you find out, you're not any happier, you're not any free, you've created some problems and all, but it's kind of too late. It's too late to go back. And you got to live with this world, this new world that you've created. Because that's the way it is, That's the way life is. You got evolution, you got all that. Because you either got to evolve and get better and smarter, or else somebody else is going to come and beat you to it. So that's kind of the way it is anyway. That's what you got to do. See, you got to figure this stuff out. It's like we had to figure all this stuff out. We had to invent agriculture and invent all this, the good with the bad and all that, because, that's what we got to do. It's kind of funny, if you think about it that way, but how else can you really think about it? Because why else do we do all this stupid stuff, right? We put ourselves through all this stuff. We try to become more powerful or whatever, I mean, and then in the end, who knows if we're really any happier, if we're really any better off, and we've created a world, in fact, that whether or not we're happier, whether or not we're better off, and whatever, you gotta live with it. So, and I will say this, the thing that is one thing that would be incontrovertible, in other words, something that you can't argue with, that's one of my point, is that, people are best, they live longer. And presumably, if you live longer, you're living more alive, where you have enough to eat, enough clean water to drink, and enough good food to eat, and good medical care and all that. That life is, and air conditioning, which is what I'm going to be looking forward to here, because it's probably like 30 degrees now. 30 degrees and like 7:30 or whatever. So I'm going to be looking forward to it. And the thing is that, well, what if you didn't have air conditioning? That would be like pretty bad. If I had to come in and not have air conditioning, at the end of this walk. So that's something like I look forward to. I can look forward to is air conditioning when I get home. And so walk in that door and say Tadaima to you, Kari, and she's going to say Kari Nasai, and then she's going to come up and bring the water. It's sweet because she's a sweetie, and she's going to bring me water with the ice. And at least I hope she will. And then it's going to be cool because it's going to be air conditioning. And the ice is going to come because there was like a store across the street, and the store sold ice. And that's because they had like refrigeration. And refrigeration, air conditioning, you can't, that's all like part of the whole same thing, right? Like 100 years ago, you didn't really have refrigeration or whatever. You had the stuff you had to do to try to, people figured stuff out, boy, that's like, life with refrigerators and air conditioning, it's hard to imagine it now without it, certainly like today, right? So that's what I got to look forward to. So I'm thinking, well, what if I didn't have like the air conditioning, and what I'd be going home with the unit, and it would be like 40 degrees inside. That would be like going into hell. Instead, it's going to be like 26 degrees. It's going to be nice. It's I'm going to have the cool enough, and cold water and iced coffee. I'm going to have iced coffee and probably spend much of the day inside because it's going to be really hot. So anyway, so we are coming to the end, the momentous end. We've crossed, we walked across the bridge. I didn't even say anything about it. We crossed Kiyosubashi. And it's Kiyosubashi, by the way. Not Kiyosumibashi, that's Kiyosumi Dori. Don't ask. I don't get it. This stuff is too complicated for me. But any rate, we crossed that bridge. We're now walking down. It's the last stretch. And we're going to make a left-hand turn just right up here. And we're going to end this walk. As we're back in our neighborhood. We're back in the neighborhood. And we got some, because I think, is it tomorrow? It's supposed to get cloudy a little bit, maybe some thunderstorms. The weather is going to be more unsettled. We've got a mixture of clouds and sun in this next week, and it won't be as hot. So, I don't mind it. It's been interesting. I know the BBC has been freaking out. Funny thing is, as soon as you get like unusually hot weather somewhere, then they run articles that tell you how unusual the weather is. But they don't tell you it was like cooler before that, and then it gets normal. As soon as it's over, then they move on to some other place that has hot weather. Because, there's a narrative, right? You got a narrative of just boiling temperatures everywhere. The world is boiling over. So you got to give them tons of money and power in order to combat this great problem. But at any rate, I'm going to end it there, and thanks for watching. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.